Welcome to the Loon Lounge. I'm Ben, and I'm gonna go on a little rant today. We're going to focus on department stores. Not just department stores, but the lack of representation of fragrances in general. The first thing that I want to focus on is the fact that your average department store, such as a JCPenney, a Nordstrom, a Macy's, Sephora, and this includes the Sephoras inside of department stores, they do have a fragrance selection, specifically a men's fragrance selection. They all do. The main concern with me bringing this up is, one, the representation of any niche fragrance is, there's almost none. It's virtually all designer fragrance. You know, your Armanis, your Gucci's, your Versace's. You're not seeing your Creeds, your Armoises, your Parfums de Marly, that stuff. You're not seeing that stuff. You're seeing Jean Paul Gaultier, right? And given that these designer fragrances are, I guess, good fragrances, but they all generally give the same scent, or I guess what I'm trying to say is they all sort of belong in the same category. And a specific bone I have to pick is with Sephora. They used to have a wide selection of men's fragrances. I couldn't tell you exactly how many feet wide, but wide, okay? It was wide. And now it is narrow. However many feet that is, I don't know. Bring a measuring tape to the mall with you next time. I couldn't tell you, but now it's narrow, okay? And they used to provide sample bottles for the customers. So I could go right up to the clerk and say, hey, I'd like a sample of, Armani Code. I'd like a sample of Azzaro Most Wanted. I'd like a sample of Mont Blanc Explorer. And they used to give each customer a maximum of 3 samples. Now they don't do that at all, which I just find, odd. In the grand scheme of things, it's not like Sephora is really losing money over this. It's not really a money issue. I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you what their decision is, but it's yet another example of an unfortunate truth and reality that we live in the current state of the fragrance community and the fragrance market. And I understand. I get it from a sales perspective, a money-making perspective. The real money makers are not going to be something that smells super specific. And not even super specific. Not all niche fragrances are super specific, but that's typically what you might think of when you think of a niche fragrance. But the issue with that is it's pushing people who want to experiment and get into the world of fragrance to online only. Now, this brings me to my second concern is online only. When we're, as consumers, forced to pretty much go online to experience these niche fragrances, it's impossible for us to test it out, right? So you go to Macy's or Nordstrom and they have the little test strips and you can spray it on there and stuff like that. Whatever. But we all kind of know what these smell like. Every guy kind of smells like, you could list 10 different fragrances at Macy's and you've smelled all of them. If you want to know what Creed Aventa smells like, you can't just go to the store, spray it on a little test strip and, oh, okay. You can't do that unless you live in New York City or, Los Angeles, someplace that has a Neiman Marcus or Saks Fifth or something along those lines, a really top-end store. And only then are you going to be able to go into the store and spray it either on yourself or on a test strip and actually walk away with what that smells like. Otherwise, you're going online and you're paying, you know, upwards of $40 to get a sample bottle from, you know, eBay or something. You don't even know, one, if it's actually the right fragrance. B, when you order a sample, you know, if it comes in a glass bottle, it's being shipped online. I mean, there's always potential for things to go wrong there. Sometimes you just want to go into the store, smell it, walk around the mall or the store with it for 20 minutes, see how it projects after 20 minutes, see how it reacts to your skin, and things that us as consumers should be allowed to do before we make a purchase. I mean, this isn't like going to McDonald's, you know, and buying a burger. They're not going to let you take a bite to see if you want to buy a Big Mac. This is bigger than that. I mean, it's a product that sometimes costs upwards of $300. And the fact that I'm kind of forced to either drive to New York or just buy something on a whim online and just hope that I like the smell, that's kind of ridiculous. I think a lot of these department stores are just kind of ostracizing a lot of people in this fragrance market, this fragrance niche. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Community, and kind of pushing us to move away from that. I just think it's not right. I don't think it's right. So for those of us, which is most of us, who are kind of forced or pushed to look online to buy full bottles or samples, we have the option of using a discounted seller, such as a Fragrance X or Joma Shop or something along those lines. There's a couple of them. You'll see the link in the description. But essentially, to break it down really quickly, what they do is they source the colognes from where they're made. So such as the Middle East, Italy, France, etc. It's just, they get them for much cheaper, and they can still make a profit selling it to us at a discount. Sometimes up to, I've seen 75% off on select fragrances. I mean, that's kind of your best bet. So unless you live in a big city, that's kind of your only option. But even with that, the issue still remains that you don't know what it smells like until you get it. If you're lucky enough to know someone who has a bottle, that's great for you, right? Fantastic. If you read 100 reviews on what it smells like and listen to people talk about it, that's great, but you won't really know what it smells like until you smell it. It's like you can't explain color to a blind person, right? It's unfortunate that that's kind of where we're left. It didn't used to be this way, and it doesn't have to be this way now, currently. I think as this community grows, we can make a push to have more representation of niche colognes alongside your typical designer colognes. We love those colognes. I mean, everyone loves a Versace Eros. Everyone loves a Dior Sauvage. I mean, they're timeless scents. They're always going to smell good. But I know what they smell like, and so do you. We all know. But I've never smelled Armoise Interlude Man, for example, and that's a niche cologne, and I'd love to get my hands on it, but I can't just drop, you know, $200+ on a bottle of cologne that I just hope I like. It just doesn't make sense to me. But then again, I've done it too. I have gone through and made a purchase on a cologne I haven't smelled before, and I've generally been pleasantly surprised. And even if it's something I wasn't expecting or something I didn't necessarily love, it's almost always worth the money just because I love fragrances, and even if it's odd and kind of unusual to me, it's something that I know eventually I'm going to go back to, and you know, and you'll probably end up seeing a video on it on this channel on these sort of oddball fragrances. But yeah, I mean, to basically sum up the whole idea of this video is, I don't like that. I don't like that we're kind of forced or corralled into a small, I guess you could call it niche way of doing things. It's unfortunate. I'd love to go down to my local mall and smell, you know, whatever cologne I wanted. I mean, I know there's virtually an unlimited amount. I mean, we can't have them all, but, you know. But if you are in the search or looking to make a purchase of a cologne online, I would recommend, and here at the Loon Lounge, we would recommend you go down into our description, click the link that we provide for jomashop.com. Currently, right now, they're having a sale of up to 75% off on both niche and designer fragrances. I guarantee you're going to find something that you like, or something that you are familiar with that, you know, you're seeing for a price that you never thought you'd see. So head over there, get yourself a bottle. It costs you nothing extra to use our link. It helps us out a lot. But anyways, I guess I'm wrapping up this rant for now. I feel better now. I hope you feel good. But I hope you keep what I said in mind. And I hope we can start a push to make things better. But until next time,